The process of change. First, the division of humanity will increase. You can meet this way in a peace and thereby create balance. Then hatred will spread. Peoples and people will rise up against each other. You can meet this with a deep inner sense and inner vision of the unity of all human beings. After that, there will be chaos. You best answer this by sparking your close relationship with God, the spiritual source of your and of all life daily. Now there will be light inside you and in the world. After the brutes has left this earth, everything begins to calm down and a shift begins. You will receive help from inner earth and extraterrestrial forces of light will guide accompany you. Earth will be integrated into the Galactic Federation of Light and will be given a new place in this galaxy. Nothing is as it seems. While things are escalating, the victory of light seems further and further away. Just the opposite is the case. All events that are now unreeling serve the purpose of allowing a certain percentage of mankind to awaken. The necessary critical mass for overturning the system must be reached. We are just about there, day by day, with each new imposition, each new dark area from the workshops of the unlight. We're getting closer to that point. So have faith in God, find your soul's path, and fully dedicate yourself to it. Connect with your spiritual consciousness. The Galactic Federation, also called Galactic Federation of Light, the Federation of Planets, Interstellar Alliance, Sphere Being Alliance, or the Galactic Federation of Worlds, is a corporation of space traveling civilization in our Milky Way galaxy. The Federation consists of hundreds of thousands of members and was founded millions of years ago after a series of wars in the Lyra constellation. The destruction that happened on that occasion led to the survivors trying from then on to solve galactic conflicts in a peaceful way. Every inhabited galaxy in our universe has a federation, but ours is one of the eldest. The Galactic Federation has an enormous fleet of spaceships at its disposal that mediate or, if needed, intervene in any place where conflicts impede. The interdimensional technologies that they can use are of such a high level that we can hardly imagine them. Their control of energy is almost perfect, so things like dematerializing become invisible, or the creation of small orbs of energy that can be released with the assignment, for example, create crop circles, is no problem at all. Their ships are often created of living material. Some are as large as planets and are totally self-sufficient with woods, fields, and rivers. The Galactic Federation is controlled by a large council made up of smaller councils that themselves consist of even smaller councils, each of which has representation from all other separate members. This way, this enormous organization stays manageable. The hierarchy between members is usually determined by their spiritual development. The most highly evolved members are beautiful light beings who voice the will of God. At this moment, a considerable part of the Galactic Federation is present around the Earth to bring tumultuous end of our cycle of duality to a happy conclusion. Although our whole universe ascends, the ascension of the Earth is a different story. The millions of ships over around the Earth are roughly split into 3 layers, of which the outer layer contains the biggest ships. This is no static unity, but a continuous arrival and departure of all kinds of ships that use the hyperspace and stargates like the sun to travel to their home planets or other places in the universe. The Earth is transitioning. Channelings provide the most specific information about this process. This is not surprising because many channel entities, such as spirits of deceased people, extraterrestrials, and the highest self of the channelers themselves, are already in a higher dimension, as they are not bound by the physical laws of space and time that exist in the 3rd dimension. They can oversee the process better from a distance than we. who are in the middle of it. The picture that emerges from the many thousands of channels on this subject is that it is something very special, especially for us Earthlings, because not only does Mother Earth make a transition from the third to the fifth dimension, but she also chooses to make it with as many of her current residents as possible. The latter is especially unusual in the universe because usually a transition to another cycle is paired with a cleansing of the old world that finds expression, for example, in the form of a shifting Earth axis and destructive natural disasters, as happened with Atlantis. Most souls leave the planet with this through departure or through death. In this way, little remains of the old civilization and a fresh start can be made. The souls that suit the new cycle can return again later. Others, like souls that haven't learned some important lessons yet, can proceed with their growth in the old dimension elsewhere in the cosmos. Channeling is a form of telepathic communication between humans and other entities, usually from higher dimensions. These beings could be spirits of deceased people, your higher self, alien beings, angels, spirits of nature, or even animals and pets. A channeler can choose who or what he or she wishes to channel. Sometimes this happens on a request of a third party. This is then usually called a reading. If the other party wants to communicate, then the connection is made and the channeling can begin. The living being that is our planet realized that without help, she might not even make it to ascension. She sent out a call for help that was heard by God. Then God made a universal call through all dimensions to help us. This call was responded to in mass, since the helping of another being is regarded as the highest good in the universe. A plan was devised that will respect the law of non-interference as much as possible. That plan consisted of, among other things, the sending of light to Earth from many places in space, and the reincarnating of pure souls without karma into our population. These souls are very responsive to the light, and they could subsequently spread that light further among the people. At the word light, you shouldn't think about spotlights, but about love and knowledge, because only a civilian that respects these values can make the jump to a higher dimension. The Galactic Federation is guiding this process as much as possible behind the scenes. However, they're the guarantee that everything indeed will take place within the planned time frame. Most people have no idea what the Galactic Federation is to protect us against dark plans that the Illuminati had and still have for mankind. They're keeping the oxygen level in our air up to the mark, cleaning up radioactive fallout, eliminating chemical pollution, chemtrails, and diseases, and minimizing the effects from natural disasters, man-made or not. Sometimes a guardian angel chooses a solution that a bit more visible to all that are involved. Most times this is called a miracle, and these events often make it into the media. This can be chosen to raise the consciousness of those directly involved or that of mankind in general. Since everything is energy and angels have complete control over energy, the temporary dematerialization of matter, a miraculous healing, or the invisible obstructing of possible fatal accident creates no problem for them. If aliens exist, why can't I see them? There are various reasons for this. The most important one is the law of non-interference, a universal rule which implies that higher civilizations visit another planet with a less developed population, interfere with them as little as possible. This does not mean that they don't visit us, because they do. Earth is an extremely interesting planet, especially in this time, and they have contact with individuals here and there, either directly or telepathically. But open contact with the entire population doesn't happen yet. That is why the largest part of all true UFO sightings take place at a rather large distance. UFOs nearby usually don't belong to extraterrestrial visitors, but are made on Earth or by a computer, CGI.